Hello and welcome to Gulf News Kicking Back, where the sad news is that Morocco's World Cup dream has now finally come to an end. They were playing France yesterday evening in the semi-final of the World Cup, and they pushed them all the way. And unfortunately for them, they ended up losing 2-0. Two scrappy goals, wasn't it, Sham, in the end? It wasn't exactly another great scintillating performance, which we thought we might get from France. It was more of another solid, robust display from Morocco, and they made it hard for France to break them down. And like I just said, it wasn't the best of goals, but the difference was they took the opportunities when they were presented to them.
That this is the classic France. I mean, these European sides are very solid. I mean, for them it's all about game management. They just sit back and wait for the opportunity and put the goals in, and then just close the match out. This is classic European style of football, isn't it? So, I was glad that goal fell in the fifth minute, simply because that tore the script to shreds. We were expecting Morocco to sit back, defend, and hit the French with the counters. That fifth minute goal changed that everything. And what I saw was a completely different Morocco. And they were all over the French. In fact, the 10 minutes before the halftime, I mean, it looked like a goal was coming any minute. And perhaps that was perhaps the best 10 minutes of the match for me. Not just that, they kept pressing throughout. And it's just that they needed some good finishing and a bit of luck that didn't happen. Yusuf and Nasiri was completely absent today, and they needed somebody to really put the ball in. And the one good chance they had, that Abu Khal, who came as a substitute, he fluffed it. Not just that, Unahi, who had a very good match, and what a shot! That if that 25-yarder had gone in, I mean, Hugo Lloris just kept it out. And if that had gone in, I think we would have had a different match. And also, but even despite all this, I think Morocco can go with their heads high, because they have proved to the world that there is African football, there is Arab football, and you don't have to have tradition, you don't have to have heritage, you don't have to have you don't need to be the inventors of football like England to play good football. This is football is a universal sport. It's popular anywhere, everywhere, every nook and corner of the world. And this is what Moroccans told. This is about passion. That's what they showed. Not just that. I think they have inspired a whole generation of players in the Arab world, as well as the African in Africa. Hakimi, Ziyech, Unahi, all these Bruno, all these players will have become household names. And I think we will see more and more good footballers coming out of this region. I think that is perhaps the best legacy of this Moroccan performance. And years later, I have said this back in previously also, years later, when you look back at the Qatar World Cup, and we see the story of it's not about the winners. You see the story of Morocco, the rise of Morocco, the rise of Arab football, the rise of African football. That is what Morocco has done to this World Cup.
I think for sure the players you mentioned there, Sean, particularly Unahi, I've been really impressed with him. He's playing for League One bottom team Angers at the moment. And I think when the January transfer window opens up, Shamshir, I think a lot of Premier League teams will be interested in that midfielder. He's had a superb tournament, as has Amrabat, as has Ziyech and Boufal and countless others. But just want to bring up a small point in yesterday's game, the difference between the two sides. Basically, yesterday we saw Mbappe for the second goal, like he does, take a few players on, and then have a pop-out goal. Crucially, take a chance, take a shot. Before that, 2 minutes before that, Morocco substitute Hamdallah did the exact same thing. Superb run into the box. And he had a second even to compose himself and to shoot the balls on his left foot. He chose not to. He tried to beat another player. The chance was gone. The difference, I think, guys, is, when moments like this pop up in matches, you just have to take a chance, because you never know. It could come off a defender's leg and it could end up somewhere else, to your own player, into the back of the net. But by not even taking a chance at goal, that opportunity was lost. But just looking at the stats, Morocco had more of the possession than France. They had 60% of the ball yesterday. I mean, that's incredible. When's the last time France has been outplayed in the possession stakes? Hardly ever. You don't ever hear of a situation like that. So, yes, as Sham said, all credit to Morocco. They've been they've made this tournament what it is, actually. It's been a superb tournament up until now. And it's purely thanks to stories like Morocco doing so well, getting out of that group, getting past the last 16, into the quarterfinals, into the semi-finals for the very first time for an Arab African country. That's never been happened before. But Shamsir, what did you make of the game yesterday, and particularly Morocco's opportunities? And also, we have to remember that they lost two key players in that game. They lost the captain, who already wasn't, fit enough to start, but he wanted to play. He wanted to try to see if he could to do it. He only lasted 20 minutes, and fortunately, it was a big risk. Had it backfired, they may have conceded a couple more goals. But what did you make of them yesterday, Shamsir? Overall.
Overall, they have made the whole of Africa proud. Yeah, that's the only thing that we can talk about them. And about the particular game, this is how France plays, man. You feel like they haven't played well, but they'll come up as winners. I was saying the same thing yesterday. This is Deschamps' France. That's how they play. That's a problem. It's scary actually. They don't even go up to a gear. Like they'll play in the second gear all the game and they still come up as winners. That is scary for Argentina, I'm saying. And they have match winners like Mbappe's and Griezmann's. I have to mention Griezmann, man. He was everywhere on the pitch, everywhere. He was. I saw Pogba's Instagram post after the game. He said Griezmann Kante. It has actually like that. He was playing like a Kante. He was everywhere on the pitch. On the defensive side, on the offensive side, he was creating chances whenever he was getting the ball, and he was coming into the midfield and helping the team. Yes, Morocco played so well, but like what you said, they didn't have the cutting edge. The ZH played like the ZH of Chelsea. He should have played like the ZH of Morocco. That was another big difference. And in a series, he had nothing. There was nothing for him to do because there was no crosses coming in. They had chances to put the ball into the box, and they didn't do in the first half on many occasions. And that Yamika's mistake, that was the first mistake they did in the whole of the tournament, maybe defensively. So that gave Griezmann the chance to put the ball into the box, and the goal came for the first one in the fifth minute or something of the game. So, they were so organized, but I think Walid Regragui tried to be little more defensive than the usual one. Yes, they play defensive football, but they tried to play five at the back and change the whole formation, change the system, and that could have backfired, I think. And obviously, the unfit players like Roman Saiz, if you're not fully fit, you can't play a semi-final. Yes, I can see the adrenaline rush and you wanted to give everything, but still, that's a big mistake. Aguerd was in the team sheet at first in the beginning, then he had to pop out. Mazraoui was not fit. He had to be taken off at the halftime. So they were so unlucky with all these injuries, man. This is Morocco. This is not like a France squad or an England squad. They can bring players from the bench and make a difference. They have only like handful of players who are quality. Rest of them, I'm not degrading them, but they are like below par. So that made a huge difference. Still, you have to give credit to Morocco for the way they have fought, and they have kept the world champions at bay for almost like 75 minutes. They were giving them that nerve wrecking moments. So we have to give them credit. But France, they know how to cross the line. They are champions. They have the winning mentality, and if they can do that again, that'll be historic, man. To win it again back to back, that'll be unbelievable.
I think we clearly knew that the captain Sace had a problem when he was outrun by Giroud. Giroud doesn't run past anybody. But anyway, unlucky for Morocco. I mean, they had a lovely ovation at the end of the game when they went towards their fans. It was a prolonged one, in fact, and a deserved one. They've been the highlight of the World Cup. But it's not over for them. They have to play the third place match against Croatia, which will be on Saturday. Sham, how do you think? Do you think they've got enough in the tank there to get the bronze medal? I mean, it's not really important anymore, but to say that they finished third in the World Cup will still be something for them to be proud of.
I think they will go out for all out for a win, like you said. Nobody remembers the third place, but for them it matters because that is they want to make a fist out of this tournament, something to show that okay, so third place would do. But the thing is, like Shamshi said, they are an army of walking wounded now. So which is why they may not be able to put their best team out there. They won't want to take chances with the wounded player or the injured player simply because it's a question. Some of them could be career threatening if you turn them onto the pitch. So I'm not too sure how it might come against a team like Croatia there. But given the enthusiasm and the energy, I wouldn't be surprised if they could come away with the third place finish.
I think so as well. Shami, do you think it's a good point you guys have made? I mean, obviously they have got a lot of injuries now, and they haven't got that depth. of quality, which they can rely on to bring other players in to make up the numbers. But I think possibly if they can play like they've been playing, I think they should be able to, in regulation time, beat Croatia by a couple of goals. I can see. Shamsir, how do you think in their last game of this World Cup, how do you think they're gonna get on?
First of all, the third place game is like rubbish, man. Seriously, why are they even playing that? I don't understand. And moreover, like even Una, he got injured. I don't think that he can play in the last game, like the third place game. So that midfield will be very weak. Even Amala is injured. Amala came into the second half and he had to be substituted again. And then they will have only Amrabat, the single man in the midfield. That's going to be a problem. When you look at Croatia, their midfield is their strength, and that could prove to be pivotal. And I think Croatia will nick it, but with the fan support and everything, you never know. Morocco, they might have one last, pop at it and finish third in the World Cup. But it's irrelevant, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's the appetizer for the main game, which is on Sunday. It's going to be Argentina against France. It was the final. I think probably the majority of people would have preferred to have seen Messi, Mbappe, and of course all the other quality players involved. Sham, I mean, as long as these two teams go at each other, like we were saying before we came on air, if there's an early goal, it'll really help make this final much more interesting, because otherwise, like most finals, they're very cagey affairs. There's obviously so much at stake. Neither side wants to make any kind of mistake. So we could be seeing, a very, well, not boring or dull, but very cagey affair, at least for the first half, unless there's an early goal. How do you see the final going on Sunday?
I mean, I'm going to say it. I think it might be a boring match. I mean, it's simply because both of them wouldn't want to take any chances. Argentina want to win more than anybody. Messi want to win it more than anybody. France would want to make history by the first team to defend the world title after Brazil in, say, 62. So much at stake here. So both of them would be, they're just circling in the ring rather than trying to land the first blow. But I hope, like in the Morocco match, if there is a goal in the first 10 minutes, exactly like you said, if there is a goal in the first 10 minutes, then the chase begins. Then the match opens up. And I hope that happens. If that doesn't happen, we're going to see some defensive football. We're going to see some boring football. And both are not even scared to push the match into a tiebreaker, because for them, winning matters most. It's not how you win. And also, if you look at both the teams, they have not been playing at their best. I mean, you take away Messi, Argentina is subpar, and France has been just flashes of brilliance here and there, and I mean they're just showing that is enough for them to win. So I hope a goal comes in the first 10 minutes. Otherwise, it's going to be a snooze fest.
Absolutely. I mean, Shamsir, that's exactly what happens in tournament football. You have the most exciting games earlier on because you've got chance to regain some points if you've tried something different which hasn't worked out. But now in the semi-final and the final, particularly, like Sham says, like I've also said, it could be a very dull game. But you being an Argentina and a Messi fan, you're obviously hoping it to be a bit more of an explosive game. How do you think it will be?
For that instance, I think the third place game will be more entertaining. So we can all hope for that because there's nothing to lose. And when it comes to the final, it's going to be cagey, 100%. It has to be like that because nerves, and you don't know what and all it'll be like. For like what Sham said, the pressure will be like immense pressure. France, I never thought that France will reach the finals. Yes, I thought, they will have a good tournament, but still, with all the injuries they had, like they lost Benzema, the Ballon d'Or winner, they lost Pogba's and Kante's and Kimpembe's and Nkunku's and all these players. They have lost so many talented players, but even then, they have reached the final. That shows the depth in the squad and the managers knows to win football games. And even in the yesterday's game, I was really impressed with Deschamps' tactics. Especially the in-game management. That's what you need in tournament football. When that right-hand side of Morocco was like taking full advantage, he brought in Thuram, the son of the great Thuram. And there's a history about Thuram also. He has scored in the semi-finals in 98 against Croatia when they were trailing for a goal. And the son came and he made an impact because he took Giroud off and put Mbappe in the right in the middle because Mbappe was not tracking back. Thuram was tracking back and he gave that extra defensive nose to Theo Hernandez, and that proved to be pivotal. So those kind of things, the in-game management, and the substitute came in like Kolo Muani, he scored in 44 seconds. See, those kind of things, the manager has to brag about all these decisions. So that knows that, how to get it done. That thing is with Deschamps, and I fear Argentina might be feeling that. And that could be the major difference maker. I think Deschamps' France have the edge as far as I'm concerned. Yes, Scaloni's team will be playing out, and they have been versatile throughout the tournament. Messi has been playing magical football, but the France's know-how to cross the line could be pivotal. That's what I believe.
Could be, but I think just from what we saw from Messi's assist for that third goal, it looks like he's the Messi of 10 years ago. And it will be an incredible story. This is his last World Cup. He's 35. He's already said he's not going to be playing anymore. He's won everything there is in the game to win, apart for the World Cup. It will be a tremendous story. I think we all secretly hope that it is him that manages to do it on a personal level just for him. Shamsir is crossing his fingers clearly there. It'll be great. But like we've all said, an early goal would be great. That'd be nice to see. Anyway, that's all from us for today. We'll be back on Saturday to see how the third place game goes. And then we'll be back for the final. In the meantime, head to golfnews.com for all the latest news and reviews. And check us out on our social media channel. Thanks to Sham and thanks to Shamsir. And we shall see you again soon.